So in the previous little video we looked at the curves adjustment layer, how we've brightened up the whole image. Now Photoshop, it's all about layers, and we'll have a look at those in another video, but at the moment we're going to keep it very simple. So what I want to do is I want to merge this curves layer with the background layer. So I'm going to go over to layer, and then down the bottom it says merge down, so merge down. We've now got just one layer we're working on. Now this next bit is going to work in Photoshop CC. I'm not too sure with the current edition of Photoshop Elements. We're going to go to filter, we're going to go to camera raw filter. So this opens it up in a really powerful piece of Photoshop itself. So we've got the exposure slider here, we can move that across, really brighten it up, really darken it down. We've also got contrast, so we can increase the contrast or reduce it, whichever way we want to go. Highlight slider, so if we pull the highlight slider over to the right, it increases the amount of highlights. If we go to the left, it reduces the amount of highlights. Shadows, if we pull that over to the right, it brings out more details in the shadow area. If we put it over to the left, it darkens things down. The whites and the blacks is more global, so we'll leave those alone at the moment. Then we've got this slider here called clarity, which does what it says on the tin. So if you pull the clarity slider over to the right, you'll start to see a lot more definition in the picture. Vibrance, so that brings out some nice subtle colours in it, and if you put it the opposite way, it makes it more black and white. And then the saturation, again, that's a global colour change on it, or reduction. So we want to have a work on the sky part. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring the clarity slider over, and then I can also have a look at this shadow slider. So if I pull it back this way, we've darkened the left hand side of the picture. If I pull it over this way, it's brightening it. And again, because it's photography, it's all about what you feel is best for the picture. It's artistic license. So I'm bringing it over to get a bit more detail out there. I'm going to pull the contrast over slightly. Now another thing we can do is if we go over here, we've got an adjustment brush. So if I click on that, it opens up another screen here. So I'm going to reset some of these sliders, and then we can paint over different areas and see what sort of effect we can get. So what I want to do is bring out more detail here, so I can use the clarity slider. I'm going to bring it right over to start with. I'm just going to increase the brush size with my bracket key, and then it's going to paint over here into the sky itself. So if I just reset that, you'll see the difference. Also what I can do is a little bit of a mess around with some of these other sliders. So the dehaze, for example, if I bring it one way, it's bringing out a lot more detail. Go the opposite way and it blows it all out. So I can bring that across just to get a bit more definition in the sky. What else can I do? Shadows, I can reduce those or increase them, so I'm just going to bring it down a little bit. Contrast, I can bring more contrast into the sky. I can change the temperature to make it really dark. I'm just going to leave that where it was. What else can we do? Sharpener, saturation. Can increase the colour on it or decrease the colour. I'm just going to bring it over, so I'm going to go right over the top with this. Bring that dehaze over a little bit more. And then once I'm happy with what I've done, if I just hit OK, that will then open it back into Photoshop. So it's just doing a bit of work, and there we go.